I'm Mr. Foot, and this is the clapped out club cab. All right, so I'm here on 111 Customs. The truck's been sitting outside all winter, and I've never put this on a jump pack or had to jump start the battery, and this has started every time I've done a cold start on it. So it's going to be interesting to see if sitting this long, if it'll still start for us. Oops, gonna have to move some stuff. Man, it sure is dusty in here. I don't know if it's showing up on video, but woo! But Blake, I am putting the key in the Mopar way this time around. I know last time I tried to do a cold start on this, he gave me shit about that. But let's see here if I remember how to do all this. I believe this turns the power on, pushing the clutch. So I guess the maximum is 4 years of neglect. The battery will finally go dead on you. But we're hoping to get this truck over to Jeff so we can do that 440 swap. I still got to get a clutch and a flywheel for it, and I think that's about it. But it sure would be fun to have this up and driving instead of just sitting out here rusting away. So it's the next day, and I'm going to use Cullen's jump pack to actually try to get this truck started. Last time I drove it from Ryan Barsness's to my house before I towed it here on a trailer, it did lose the belt for the water pump and the alternator. So it overheated. All right, so those of you guys who are new to the channel, this is the 318 original engine for this truck. It's a 4-speed with MP 435 granny gear 4-speed. When I got this, it was leaking pretty heavily from the rear main seal. Last time I started it at Ryan Barsness's, drove it to my house, it threw the belts, so it didn't have a belt going to the water pump or the alternator, and the truck wound up overheating pretty bad. I towed it here on a trailer. It does still run and drive, but this thing leaks from about everything that you can imagine. One of the things I'm going to have to do is take a look at the power steering pump. I know that that was leaking and squealing really bad. I'm going to have to look under here and try to figure out which power steering box that is. Anyway, you can kind of see under here leaking the rear main seal, but then also it seems to be leaking around the transmission gearbox pretty bad too. So last time I drove it, it didn't shift very easy. It had before. So what I'm thinking is it's just leaked most of its gear oil out of the transmission. I think the transmission is fine. I'm going to get a new flywheel and clutch for this, and we'll take the transmission out when we pull the engine. And I bought a gasket kit for the MP 435, and hopefully, you know, we'll get that cleaned up, resealed, some new gear oil, a new clutch, flywheel, and then the 440 in this thing, and it'll be a nice driver. Overall, the body is pretty good on this. Just both fenders have rust down in those little corners, and unfortunately it had the trim on the side, so it's got all these little holes. There is a little bit of a dent and a crease there, but this rear bed side is really nice. Tailgate's beat to shit. It was an old ranch truck in North Dakota originally, and this is the only other rust on the truck, and they make a patch panel for that too. So we'll do patch panels before I take it to Jeff's. While it's here, I'm gonna Comet wash the living shit out of this thing. It is starting to get some surface rust on some of the rougher paint surfaces, and get it all cleaned up as much as I can before we take it over to Jeff's and do the engine swap. But yesterday, while I was over here at Cullen's, I tried to start this thing, and it was switched to a GM ignition. So this is that little toggle switch I was talking about. So hopefully got enough juice in the jump pack to give her a try. I'm gonna try to set up my phone here and see how we do. I'm gonna need 2 hands to try to get this done. right, so I just hit the toggle switch up. I think that's the way it was supposed to be. And just, I had the toggle switch in the wrong position. Otherwise the old 318 is pretty loyal. But it's not happy, evidently. It's running pretty rough. I don't think it was happy getting run so hot. So this might be the last run of the 318, but the old truck's still pretty loyal.
Hypothetically, this will be the frame here.
Yeah.
This will be your drop, and then we'll do another bend, like a U almost, and then we'll do another bend back opposite of this. So when we get done with this bend, we'll see where we're at. We'll mark our degree. Okay. Right now we're only at 30 degrees, but then you got spring back. So the further you bend it, the more spring back you get. So
okay.
say you go to 90, it might spring back to like 80, 86, 87. Okay. So, but since you only say you went 30 degrees, you might get maybe a degree, maybe a 2, a spring back. So okay. Not a lot.
Right.
We'll probably go to, we'll go to 40 degrees.
Just getting ready to do a reverse bend. Got it leveled.
That's 20, 28 and a quarter, call it. Apache cab that's going on that frame Cullen's working on. It's going to be airbagged, but it's pretty awesome condition.
is I've been promising my wife I'd put a leveling kit on her 4Runner for her. So I'm going to start working on that. So this is what it looks like in its stock position. We got wheel spacers too, but I'm afraid they might be too much. But as you can see, the wheels are kind of sunken in. So we'll see how it looks with the wheel spacers.
Well, the place I'd rather be, and there ain't no other pretty faces I'd rather see. I'm down on my knees, crying ready.
As you can see, the spacers, get the front wheels out, and there's here they're tucked